Welcome, interweb, to episode 26 of Sis and Big Pop's Culture. I am Big Pops, aka Todd Turner, aka Mosaic Fan Art, and as always, my lovely co-host is...
Hi, sweet friends. I'm Hannah Jo. I'm Sis, aka Hannah Jo. I'm losing it today. And together we are an adult daughter and father duo. We dive into all things geek, nerd, and fandom. Every episode is family friendly. So we have some lovely
friendly. I always like just
we have some lovely things that we are going to get into today. As per the usual, we are going to talk about some pop culture news. Dad has some stuff pulled for us from his comic book stash. Stash. We watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
And I watched it a little bit differently than I bet you did.
Okay.
I can't wait to explain this.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about it. And we read something that we're going to mention in the news portion, so I'm not going to spoil it for the right now section.
I know. All right. We got a lot of cool stuff going on.
We do.
That's my typewriter.
Nerd news.
What about that? That was like perfectly good timing.
Thank you. It's almost as if you've made that sound many times before and I knew what was happening next.
I've made it at least 26 times.
That's not true, because you didn't start making that sound at the first one.
I know. So at least four times. I can get that. That's an easy one. That's a gimme. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, something that I love to do in my spare time, LOL, spare time, when that was something that I had an abundance of, which now I do because the semester is basically over. So I get to not do homework for 3 months, which is phenomenal. Praise the Lord. The Lord is so good.
Yes, but you still have to be ready for the oral exam.
Yeah, that's on... that's on Friday.
Like a movie trailer. Oral exam.
Oh, so speaking of, I've been watching movie trailers. And so, because that's what I was going to say, is something that I enjoy doing in my free time. I was going to say spare time, then I was going to say free time, and then I was going to say spree time, and that it was just not going to be good.
I like spree time. That's a good combo.
In my spree time.
I like sprees, but I'd rather have the bottle caps. I'd rather have bottle caps than spree or sweet tarts. So that's
I like sweet tarts better than all of those.
All right. But bottle caps are cool because you can like combine cola with cherry and get cherry cola.
We love that. Anyways, I've been watching movie trailers. There's a couple of cool movies coming out that I'm excited about. They both seem like one of them specifically is going to be for grown-ups and one of them isn't rated yet. So the one that's for sure going to be for grown-ups is Hitman's Bodyguard 2.
Yeah, I never saw the first one.
I saw the first one.
It was Samuel L. Jackson, right?
It was very funny.
Was it?
The first one was
rated R for sure.
Oh, 110%.
Don't take
110%. It will be.
Unless you want them to be scarred for life.
Yeah, don't take your kiddos to watch that. But
and then if that's what you want to do, let me know because I'll call social service. Anyway,
Daddy,
you don't want people to purposely scar their children for life.
And another thing that looks really cool that I'm excited about, but I'm unsure of. Now, but looked really cool beforehand.
Oh, you're gonna talk about that now?
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is they're making a new movie, Sweet Tooth?
It's a TV show.
It's a TV show. No, yeah, it's a TV show. It's like a limited series from what I could determine. So it's not going to be something like Handmaid's Tale. I don't know, like a TV show.
Here's the deal. They're still writing Sweet Tooth comics.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
No, they're not, because I read the Wikipedia page and they're doing a second. It's like, it's not the same characters. It's like 300 years in the future.
I'm telling you, their Sweet Tooth comics are coming out currently.
Really?
Yes.
Then the Wikipedia page lied to me.
You can't believe Wikipedia. I can go in there and edit Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is not extremely unreliable, though.
I know. So go ahead.
So Sweet Tooth is going to be...
Talk about it as if you'd never read the comic book.
Okay, so I was really excited because I saw this thing. It looked really weird. It kind of looked like the Weekday.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it's called, but it's like it
Isn't
was
that like
a
a
movie
singer?
that came out, and like
The
each
weekday?
girl was a day of the
Or is that the
week,
weekend?
and you're like there was a genetic thing that happened. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix
Okay.
original. I
That
can't remember
sounds
what it's
weird.
called, but it looked weird. So it's like
Hmm.
there are these children that are being born and they have like genetic mutations and they're like part like animal
In this show, Sweet
in the
Tooth.
show, like in Milktooth.
And it's
Milktooth. It's not
directed, is
Milktooth.
it
It's Sweet Tooth.
Sweet
It's
Tooth?
produced by the
Produced.
Downeys. It's
Yes.
produced
Robert
by
Downey
Robert
Jr.
Downey
and his
Jr. and
wife.
his wife.
Yeah.
Is it Susan Downey?
I have no idea.
I
If
think
you
her name
want to
starts with
get a
an
little
S.
bit, I tell you what, if you want to get a little bit uh, familiar with Robert Downey Jr. personally, I would suggest you go watch the David Letterman special on Netflix.
Oh, I did. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. So
What if it was a phenomenal special?
he interviews Robert Downey Jr.
And it was
And if
like
I'm not
he's like a cool dude.
yeah, on his
Like
farm.
what I
That was
learn
funny.
about Robert Downey Jr., especially like him now, is
Mhm.
just really cool. And I think it's like he's
Gotcha.
grown a lot and is like a genuinely like nice person.
Yeah. So back to the trailer.
So anyways,
for
yeah.
Netflix.
So there's this so the world babies being born are now part animal for some reason. And something happens and everyone starts getting sick.
Right. Did you catch that from the trailer?
I did catch that from the trailer because the dad and the son are having to live out
In the
in
woods.
the world, in the woods away from people.
Yeah.
And then something happens to the dad, and then people come from the kid, and then the kid
Yeah.
has to go like
The
hide
trailer
stuff.
looks really cool.
the trailer looks really cool, and it looks like it doesn't look
I'm
like hardcore, but it looks kind
Okay.
of sweet
So Hannah and I read the
too.
like-
You know what
like
I
a-
mean?
Yes. We read the one
Yo,
of the original trade paper.
that
trade
is
paper-
not the movie the TV trailer I saw.
I don't think this is going to be for kids at all.
Not if it goes based on what we read, but like
Okay,
even
we'll
like the
talk about that
tone of
later.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that is
We'll
something
talk
that's
about
coming
it.
up, which is the trade paperback that we read this week. We read the
Yeah.
trade paperback.
We're going to talk about
Sweet
Sweet Tooth
Tooth.
later. By Jeff
Not
Lemire.
Milktooth.
No,
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth, and we'll tell you why he's called Sweet Tooth. Yeah. So anyway, yep, that was like the number one thing on my nerd news at the top, and I was like, "How are we going to talk about that? Because we're going to talk about that, but we don't want to talk about that because we're going to talk about that." That's a
Yeah.
lot of talk.
Which is why I didn't say what the trade paperback we had read because we needed to
Gotcha.
bring it up at this time.
So, do you know the new show that's being released on Disney Plus this week? Yeah, I knew you wouldn't. Do you know what big day this week is? Well, we get
Let me
like
It's like it's a lot of months.
okay,
Like,
no.
it's-
First of all, we get May the 4th.
Oh, yes.
So
Okay, are
Disney
you ready to
Plus-
hear what the months of May are? The month of May is Asian
I only want
Pacific
this-
American Heritage Month, Jewish
Oh, yeah, that's
American
it.
Heritage Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and that's it.
Pizza Day? Oh. Well, this week we get Cinco de Mayo and we get
We do.
on the
5th.
Taco Wednesday, not Taco Tuesday. And we get but anyway,
Mother's
we get
Day.
May the 4th, Star Trek Day. So they're releasing the cartoon The Bad Batch, which follows the group of stormtroopers that were a little bit, each of them were different than the because they're all supposed to be clones, but the Bad Batch is a bad batch of clones that are all a
Oh,
little
no.
bit different, but they're not bad. But I guess
Okay.
all stormtroopers are bad, but I don't know.
Well, not
A
Finn.
lot of people have a real big affinity to the Bad Batch. I guess they showed up during Clone Wars. I'm going to butcher it,
Cool.
so don't, because I'm not into the animation. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, but that's a big deal. They're releasing episode 1 on May the 4th, and then episode 2, I think, is going to be on Friday.
Oh, that's dope. So 2 in a week. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of Finn, do you know who a guy named Finn Whitrock is? You ever heard of him?
No, but I'll Google a picture while you tell me about him.
In the Google thing. Well, I just figured that he was probably one of these, young actors that you would know who he is. He's going to play.
He's in The Big Short, and was he the main guy in Unbroken?
I don't have any idea.
Do you remember when we watched Unbroken?
I can't be him. That can't be him as the main guy in Unbroken.
It's not. He's not the
Zapparini?
main
Lou
guy, but
Zapparini?
he's
Gotcha.
He's one of the main. He's one of the guys in Unbroken.
That was a good movie. I liked
That was
Unbroken.
that
It's a
was
true
good movie.
story. Yeah. Well, he's going to be Guy Gardner, and they're making a Green Lantern TV show for HBO Max.
Huh.
So
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Let's watch it.
Guy Gardner was the one who's like he's always got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
he's always angry.
He's kind of a turd.
Yeah, but do you know why? So you saw the movie, even though people don't like the movie. I was okay with it, but
I watched the movie and it was awful.
Okay, well,
but part of the reason that it was awful was because I watched it at the drive-in.
Oh yeah.
So it was extra awful because I watched it at the drive-in.
So when the alien Abin Sur crashed on planet Earth and died, his ring has to go to a person who is worthy to be the Green Lantern.
Yes.
And that's how Hal Jordan got it.
Yes.
The only reason Guy Gardner didn't get the ring was because Hal Jordan was closer.
Oh, lame.
So for all of his life, Guy Gardner lived in the whole entire shadow of, I should have been the Green Lantern. But the only reason I wasn't was because that guy was closer.
That sucks.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a neat. I really am looking forward to it.
Okay, I'm here for it. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
I have another piece of news.
Go.
Right now, there is an RPG company that they are like making
role-playing game.
Yeah.
RPGs, role-playing
RPGs. The only reason that I thought to bring it up during this podcast is because you had talked about Vampire the Masquerade, that comic that you had.
I still have it. I'm still getting it. I told Scott I don't want it anymore, but he keeps getting it, and I don't have the heart to tell him I don't want it. Because I'm the only one getting it, he would be stuck with the issue. So
we'll just tell him next time he has it.
Yeah, but now I'm in a new story arc, so I have to keep getting it till the story arc's over.
You're so funny. Well, that is called like how Wizard of the Coast is Dungeons and Dragons.
Uh-huh.
Like they have a bunch of different types of RPGs, and it's called the World of Darkness. And they are in talks. I don't know with whom, but the production company Hive Mind, which did The Witcher and Expanse.
Oh, I love the Expanse.
Are teaming up with Eric Hessler, who did Arrival. So, like, already I'm on board.
Yeah, you're already there.
And Christine Boylan, who did The Punisher.
Oh, gosh, that's a great show.
And they're going to develop the World of Darkness, which is their RPG.
It just sounds so dark.
Yeah, well, it's 100%. That's exactly like it sounds like. I don't like the vibe. I'm unsure if I'm gonna like the vibe or not, but love The Expanse. Arrival is on one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I can get behind The Punisher's vibe. The Witcher was weird.
Never watched it.
It was weird. That's for grown-ups. That's for grown-ups. And it
this
took
whole
until
show will be for grown-ups. I have a feeling.
Oh no, yeah. If this becomes like a little TV world in and of itself, then it's gonna 100% be for grown-ups.
It'll probably go to Netflix too.
Yeah, it'd be Netflix or HBO. I think.
I'm betting Netflix because all those people you mentioned.
Well, Expanse is Prime.
Amazon. Yeah, you're right. But Punisher, Witcher, that was all Netflix.
That was Netflix. So
I got you.
I don't know. I think I think it's cool that RPGs are kind of having a moment right now.
Listen, one of the guys in my groups did the Vampire Masquerade.
It's isn't a game for Vampire?
Yeah, was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the one I did I've done one role-playing game through Discord with some of my internet friends, and it was a Vampire the Masquerade game.
I remember that. Yes, mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was in New Orleans or something.
Yeah, it was in New Orleans, and my person's name was Bo.
Bo. What's up, Bo?
It was sweet.
Well, here's for the kiddies. A couple things. One.
Yes.
Somebody let it slip. I think that Power Rangers shows are all going to be moving to Netflix.
Okay.
That is I'm not an investigative journalist, so this could be, but that's what I heard.
Well, if you are interested in knowing what's coming and going from Netflix or Hulu or any of the streaming services, just Google a listicle because we could do that. It would just take our entire time.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that.
It's hard for me. I just want them to list them all in alphabetical order. But they don't. They list them in date.
The dates. I don't care.
Like this comes out. I don't give a rat's tail. I don't care what date. I want to know what it is. And then I can go back and look at the date. Anyway, it's too hard for me. Hot Wheels has a new video game coming out in September.
No
So
way.
yes, it's called Hot Wheels Unleashed. And the funny thing is because you remember Nate having all those Hot
Oh,
Wheels. We
100%.
would put together a,
Test
you
track.
know, so this looks like you're going to be able to create your own car. Each car has different, will have like different
That's so
powers or different
fun.
things, and you're on a track, and it can be in different places or whatever. So it looks like it's going to be really big, and it's going to
Oh,
be
I
on
love
all
that.
platforms for the most part, is what I could see.
That's
I
so
mean, it
fun.
said Xbox, PlayStation, the Switch, all that kind of stuff. So,
That's so cool.
I know it. I wonder if I'm there's a they have a promo video up for it or whatever, and I
Cool.
watched it. It looked pretty neat. Yeah. Did you see the Hawkeye trailer for the Hawkeye TV show for Marvel?
No.
Yeah, it stars that Haley, what's her face?
Haley Atfield?
No, Seinfeld, Seafield, whatever.
See, yes. She
Whatever.
was the voice of Gwen Stacy.
I know. Exactly. That's what I thought about. But that's pretty cool. You should watch it. And you need to watch Dagon, the Shang-Chi, the
Yeah.
Ten Rings trailer.
You just need to send me these because I just
Okay, so
get
this isn't
sucked
really
into a
news,
rabbit
but
hole and then
but-
watch like how to make clothes out of pillowcases.
Nice.
I'm not kidding.
I know that. Listen, when I was in Haiti, we had one girl that went with us to Haiti to work on our mission trip and didn't bring a dress. So
Mhm.
apparently you have to wear a dress if you're a female when you go to church. So they made her a dress out of a pillowcase
Mhm.
so she could wear a dress.
Mhm.
Anywho, the whole entire thing about the 10 rings, and I want everybody listening to this to go back and watch this. First of all, the 10 rings thing has been around since Iron Man 1.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
Agreed.
And then they brought back the 10 rings, sorta, in Iron Man 3.
Yes.
And then you come to find out that the Mandarin was just made up. He's not the Mandarin. He's
And Nathan
Trevor
is of the mind
Slattery.
that he's actually real and that it was a
Okay.
joke.
So Marvel, not at the time Disney, Marvel put out a 10-minute movie called All Hail the King
And he got like broke out of jail.
by the 10 rings because the
Mhm.
real Mandarin wanted to see him. I wonder if they're going to bring that into this movie.
Oh, that'd be dope.
So, yeah.
Nathan does the best impression.
You'll
Of-
never see me.
He does
coming.
the best impression of that. So fun.
That's about all I have. All that-
This isn't a piece of news, but just something that I thought
I've
was
got one of
funny.
those too.
just something I
ahead.
thought was funny. Dad texted me on Friday and was watching Lord of the Rings and just was like texting me like random thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Really, ... Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? ? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, Dad. I'm like, what are you doing?
I put that on Facebook and got like many answers.
That's awesome.
Okay. Somebody's like, come on, Theoden, get a map. It shows you right where it is. You know,
I'm like-
somebody's like that.
He's having their leader's bonkers. He's having a hard time. That's what I said. But I just thought that was so funny, and that it was just like a random text, and I was
Really?
like,
Yeah.
okay, Dad's watching Lord of the Rings, man. And the reason I bring it up is because I like search for nerd news every time before we do this. That way, I have pieces of news to share with you. And one of the things that I found on this nerd site that I love is just a supercut of every time someone laughs in the Lord of the Rings.
That's all it is.
And that's all it is. And so they go from like really wholesome laughs to like some awful laughs, like Theoden, like when he's like cursed, like and I'm like, oh no, make it stop. But I just had to tell you because I just thought that was so funny.
Well, speaking of crazy things like that, Collider did the Mustache Justice League cut.
I saw that. I saw that too.
They digitally put the mustache on him.
They put the mustache back on him. Classic.
Oh, gosh. I love it. Oh, we've said
Classic.
this before. All for Superman with a mustache.
Yeah, bring that. Like, man, I'm here for
Slap
it.
on. All right, that's all I got. all my news for the most
That's
part.
so funny. Really, where
Dis-
was Gondor when the Westfold fell?
Yeah, I don't know. They weren't where they were supposed to be. That's
No,
for
they
sure.
weren't.
What's his face was eating tomatoes. I hate that scene in that movie.
So
In the
gross. And
third
it's
one.
just like juice
I
everywhere.
know it. And then someone has done like an hour long loop of that on YouTube.
Well, the potatoes.
Yeah.
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a
Stick 'em
stew.
in a stew.
Boil 'em,
Boil
mash 'em,
'em,
stick 'em in a stew. Potatoes.
What's taters, eh? Precious?
Precious. What's taters, Precious?
Oh,
What's
well.
taters, eh?
What are you binging, Hannah?
So I watched the movie that we watched today,
Yep.
that we're gonna talk about today. I watched The Goonies.
Oh, you went back and watched Goonies.
I went
because it
back and
was
watched Goonies, and started
started what?
started an anime
Okay, what is it?
called Ruby.
How's it
RBWY.
Okay, yes, apparently you go on with that because listen, they're doing I don't know what
Are they
that
doing something with
is,
this anime?
but they've
Cool.
got Justice League RWBY comic book.
Really? Are the
Yeah.
characters of Ruby
What is-
in this
what is-
Justice League comic?
Is it called Ruby? What does it stand for? I don't even know what it is.
Big shrug.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's an anime style or what it is, but apparently they've got, I don't know, something's going on with an anime company and either I think it's Marvel. I
It's
think
Rooster
Marvel.
Teeth. It's by Ruby's by Rooster Teeth.
I don't know what that means. Roosters
the-
don't even have teeth.
That's
got
who's in
beaks.
charge of it.
They got beaks. Roosters.
It's an American anime influenced animated web series, is what Ruby is.
Gotcha. Well, they're doing that with some comic books.
Really?
So,
Is it
what
just
did
like
you-
an animation style?
I don't know. I mean, this is new. Maybe somebody out there can give us some insight.
Yeah, somebody
yo.
spill us the tea because I don't know. I don't know.
So what did you
It
watch?
is.
Like,
It's
what
these
is-
four. It's so the first season.
Is it red, white, blue, and yellow?
Those are their colors. Yeah.
Serious. That's what
No,
it's called.
100%. Those are their colors.
What about me?
Like I'm
I
not
don't even know
even.
what
I'm not
talking
even
about.
kidding.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. Hannah's showing me a picture
red,
of it right now.
white, blue, yellow.
Yellow. Okay, there you go.
So the first season's free on YouTube.
Okay.
It is not big budget animation in the first season
I understand.
and is a bit jank in some areas.
What age groups? Middle school, high school?
I think middle school could definitely watch this. Like there's no bad language or anything
Gotcha.
like that. Like there's some like peril.
Understood.
I mean like it's kind of like more grown up Winx Club.
You and that daggone Winx Club.
I like it's like kind of like I get a Totally Spies kind of vibe. Like you know what I mean?
gosh.
Like it's like these girls are going to this they're like going to this school to learn to fight the evil in the world.
Okay.
And
All
I'm
right.
here for it. I'm here for it. Except there are some guys in this one too. So there's
Okay,
two
good.
groups. So there's 8 people. 4 are like the main group, and those are that's where the character Ruby like is in that
Gotcha.
group. And then there's 4 other people, 2 girls, 2 boys, and they all like I don't know, like fight evil
Gotcha.
and
Like,
are learning to become huntresses
Okay.
to fight.
A lot of anime just is sort of very similar in some regards.
Well, I feel like isn't every TV show in some way like a group of people banding together to fight against some sort of darkness?
What are you talking about? The Walking Dead now? Are we talking about The Walking Dead?
No, I'm
now?
talking about like
That's
literally
what-
anything.
A lot of stuff like that.
Literally anything is like that. And it's like I said, some of the animation in the beginning is like a bit like jarring, but like I got into it, man. Like I'm here for it. It
Well,
was
cool.
like metal. I'm like, let's go.
Well, good. Well, that's good.
Teamwork. And
something
it's like
that the
they're like all
kids
becoming
can
friends
watch.
and I'm like, yay.
How many episodes have you watched?
The first on YouTube it's like 2 hours and I've seen like an hour.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I haven't finished the first season yet. And I've really enjoyed it. The music's really cool. The people are like, I mean, like it's an anime.
Yeah.
but
Are you watching it subbed or dubbed?
it's an
Oh, it's an
American
American anime, so it's.
anime, so it's in English.
But you probably still watched it dubbed,
No,
subbed.
I mean
You
it's on
probably still
YouTube.
watch it subbed because you subtitle
I
everything.
like subtitles. Subtitles are the best. Did I watch all of the movies that I told you about with subtitles? Yes, I did. Because I
You're
like
funny.
them the best.
You're funny.
Sloth like screaming, "Hey you guys!"
With subtitles at the
with
bottom.
subtitles like all caps. "Hey you guys!" exclamation mark. And I'm like,
That's
yes.
great. That's so funny. Oh gosh. Well, I have been. Well,
I'm
you were
okay.
like,
I'm okay.
I
I'm
like
okay.
sloth.
I
Sloth
do
like
too.
chunk.
And love. He says love.
Love chunk. You're
Love
gonna live with us
chunk.
now. You're gonna live with us now, sloth.
I cried. I was like, he has a home.
Oh gosh.
I'm
It's
okay.
nice.
What are you
He's
binging,
Superman.
Dad?
Well, we finished watching the first season of The Chosen,
Oh,
which
fun.
which is on YouTube. So
Yeah.
season two
You'd been talking
started.
about that.
Season two started on Easter, this Easter, but we haven't watched that. We haven't started
Are you
that.
going to
I don't
start
know.
it?
We probably will. Of course, I'm now watching Return of the King. So when you say you talk about binging, you're like binging. You've only watched 2 movies. Yeah, they're 4 hours.
LOL, 4 hours each.
So I'm in the middle of Return of the King right now, and I'm slipping past stuff that I don't much care to listen to.
Like
So
you're just fast forwarding. I don't want to
yeah,
watch this.
yeah, I
I
don't
feel
care
that.
about yeah the whole. I don't know.
I know your face.
Yeah. Oh yes,
He says
yes.
that twice.
I saw that. I saw that. That's where we just ended this part. I
Tear
am no man.
tear down. Don't you know no man can takes helmet off,
Helmet
hair
off.
flowing. I'm like, yes.
Stabbing right in the
Go, Eowyn.
face. Right in the face. We're like,
She
oh man.
stabs him, man.
Oh. Of course, I'm watching
Ooh,
Extended
so
Version.
cool.
And in the background, while I've been working on doing some grout work on Harley, I've got Fringe back on.
Really?
So, yeah.
Good for you.
The Chosen is family friendly. The Lord of the Rings is PG-13.
Fringe is what would Fringe be like?
I would say it
TV
would be
15?
TV. I would say so. PG-13. PG. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got some creepy stuff in it.
I tried to watch it and I couldn't.
Well, a lot of people love it or hate it. It seemed like they had one direction the first season and then it changed the second season or
Yep.
third season, then it changed again. But it is one show where you can go and watch the entire show because
That's
they're
so
all
fun.
out there. And it's free. I think it's on IMDb TV, so there are commercials.
Cool.
Yeah, so Lord of the Rings is on
Hulu.
HBO Max.
Oh no, I
HBO.
lied. It's on HBO Max. It was on Hulu for a minute.
The Chosen is on YouTube, and Fringe is on IMDb TV. So
Goonies
I like
is on
Fringe,
a couple different things.
which is so funny. You know how I ended up on Fringe?
How?
Because Lord Denethor is the crazy mad scientist on Fringe. So I just
That's funny.
migrated on over to there.
You're
I
like,
don't know.
let's go check that out.
Yeah,
It's been a
exactly.
minute.
I know. So
That's
I'm like
funny.
on- I never know what season I'm on when I go back to put it back on because I've seen it so many times. I'm just like,
So where'd you start?
I don't know. I started where the people from the alternate universe are coming over.
Okay.
So that's
Season
what I
like
started.
3 then.
Yeah, I think so. Running around there. Season 3. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So
Yes.
we want to do our movie
Comics.
review.
Or movie
Oh,
review.
comics.
Yeah. Let's do movie review.
Let's do comics. Then we'll do movie. Then we'll do the other thing.
Comic.
Comics. So
Spill the tea, Dad.
it was a struggle for me to choose them this week.
Ooh, so lots of good ones.
There were lots of good ones.
That's
I'm going to talk
that's a
about
fun
one.
thing though.
I'm going to talk about one that I haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
It's called Two Moons.
Okay.
It's from Image Comics,
We love an Image comic in this house.
and this takes place during pretty close to the Civil War, Wild West type Civil War type thing.
Okay.
And Two Moons is the name of an Indian character, an American Indian,
Okay.
who has been working with, I believe, the Union. But
Okay.
something happens, and he now has the ability to see these demons that are in the West.
Uh-oh.
Here's what this his comic book is doing is they're using um, historically accurate American Indian folklore or like creatures that are in their folklore. Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
And putting them into this comic book, and
That's
he
so
is
cool.
having. So the
What
problem is,
what try like what
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know that they've said it
Okay.
honestly. I do know that the problem is that he goes to kill one of these, but everybody else sees him as a person.
Oh
So he's an American Indian in the West. So then he's being hunted and all that kind of stuff. So,
no.
but so this is issue 3 just came out. He like killed a he killed a creature that was in the, but it was like an officer in the Union Army.
That's not good, ladies and
Not
gents.
good.
That's in fact,
So
the direct opposite of good.
so they tried to hang him. Then he was saved by another band of people, and it's been really good. And from what I can tell, it's fairly historically accurate. So
Cool.
Two Moons. It's a comic book about an American Indian during the
How long has it been going on?
Civil War. 3 issues.
Okay, so we could get caught up if we wanted to, if we could find them.
Absolutely, yeah. My Savage Avengers. I love Savage Avengers. I've come to believe that it's just a comic book to showcase Conan the Barbarian. That's
Which
it.
you're here for.
I know it's fun, but I thought it was going to be a group of Savage Avengers, but it's basically Conan teaming up with other.
So they're just
people.
basically saying this is the Savage Avenger. It's Conan the Barbarian.
Yes, which is really funny. I mean, because Conan in present day is funny, but I've talked to you about this.
You mentioned it in the podcast before.
Yeah,
You've enjoyed this comic.
So DC Comics and Marvel Comics, they all have one of these bars with no name type things. Where in DC, it's like the bar at the end of the universe or whatever, where they all go and hang out. John Constantine did that.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, it's the bar with no name where only villains hang out.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. So Conan the Barbarian hangs out there too.
Why?
And like, because it's like a bar that he goes and hangs out. So funny thing is in this part, the girl gives him pumpkin flavored ale. And he's like, he tastes the drink and he's like, water. He screams for water. She's like,
I hate this.
What filth is this that you give me? And he goes, we're like an underground bar. We got to take what we can get. This is leftover from Oktoberfest last year. And he goes, never serve me this again.
We're an underground bar. We got to take what we can get, my guy.
It's so funny because the cool thing in this one is that she's like, we got to find a new place because I can't afford to stay here and pay off the cops and keep this running. So the Rhino who's there is like, hey, I know where we can hit up this bank and get you enough money and blah, blah, blah. Then you come to find out that the Rhino, who everybody always says is dumber than a box of rocks, right? All of his heists, his bank heists, that he's always been foiled by Spider-Man over and over and over again.
He's kept all the money?
No, he's just a diversion. He says, usually I do this. Someone else has a bigger job. I'm the diversion. They get what they want, and then I get paid. So it's like
that's hysterical.
Hysterical.
That's so funny.
So they go to break into the bank, and guess who shows up? Spider-Man. And then Conan the Barbarian's like, this outfit gives you the ability to climb like a spider. I want it. And he's like, no, you can't have my outfit. And like, he literally grabs and rips off part of his, like, you see his underwear. You see Spider-Man's underwear. And Spider-Man's like, my powers are from me. They're not in this outfit. But anyway, so
this outfit gives you the ability to climb. I want it. Rips it off his body.
Yes.
That's hysterical.
So Teen Titans Academy 2 came out.
Okay. We here for it still?
Yeah, I like it. The cool thing is that they have a character in there who is a double amputee at the knee.
Oh, cool.
She is a speedster. So
how
she wears the blades, like runners wear, and can tap into the Speed Force. It is
How
so
often does she
cool.
need new blades?
I don't know. They're special. You know how that is. This is comic
Okay,
book.
yeah. So this is like we're just suspending belief. She has like
I
special
love
material
this.
blades.
Yeah.
That's
So
dope.
so they have a she's normally in her wheelchair
Mm.
during all the Teen Titans stuff, and then she wears her blades when she needs to do other things. So
That's so freaking
um
cool.
yeah, I like
Oh,
that
I love
aspect of it.
that.
I know that was cool. This character Red X is still in it. It's going to be a big deal, and there
Oh
you go.
yeah.
Um, so crossover that I've talked about in the past. That's by
Yes.
Donnie Cates from Image. That's the one where
Mm-hmm.
the girl gets Valifax to bust into the. It's where the comic book world collided with our world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're
And you see the
trying
girl
to.
with the dots.
You're trying to get the little girl back to her family, and the other girl who's helping her um, is helping her. I already said that. And then
Mm.
they've got a young man whose dad is like a religious zealot,
Mm.
misguided, and um, and then they've got a comic book shop owner who's trying to help this little girl. Well, this first arc ended, so there will be a trade paperback coming out soon
That's
of the
cool. Let's
first
read
arc,
it.
and it has a spoiler at the end.
Oh no,
There's
I
one of my
don't want to
comic.
hear it.
I'm not going to tell you. One of my comic book buds was like, I don't know if I'm going to keep getting it. I said, oh, you got to read this. After the end of this, you will want to keep reading it because here's what they're doing. They're changing creative teams. So Donnie
Why?
Cates and Jeff Shaw, who are doing this, are passing it off. The next story arc is going to be told by Chip Zdarsky, which is one of my favorites. He's doing Daredevil and that Silver Coin comic book that I told you
Yes.
about.
Yes.
And Phil Hester is going to be the artist.
Oh, that's dope.
So the next story arc is going to be told by a different group.
That's fun.
And they
That keeps it
ended
like
it.
fresh and interesting.
Oh, and they ended it on a huge reveal at the end. And I'm not going to tell you. That's still
Okay,
not my
good,
book
because
of the,
I want to
still
read
not my
it
book of the
and
week.
I want to read it and figure it out myself.
Beta Ray Bill 2, if you're not reading Beta Ray Bill, you need help. Beta Ray Bill 2, he's still on his way trying to find a way to turn himself back into himself. And he finds Odin at another one of these bars at the end of the universe.
We
And
love
Odin,
those bars, man.
yeah, and Odin's like, I don't have power in me anymore to do that. But I think I know a device that can do it for you. It is the Sword of Surtur. Surtur. Remember the Thor movie where he goes and fights the guy in charge
Yes.
of, he gets his head or whatever?
Yeah.
He's the one who destroys Asgard in what do
Yeah.
they call that? What's that called? Um oh I knew it all along. Yes. So Surtur's sword.
Okay, dope.
But he has to pass through this portal to go to Mesfelheim or whatever, which is just a fancy word for, the place
Mm.
down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you remember the movie with the guy with the machine guns who was the executioner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thor, the third Thor.
Right. Well, he is with Beta Ray Bill. He's his wingman now.
Oh, I'm here for it.
And they also had a guy named Pip the Troll, which is
I know
really
Pip the
funny.
Troll.
Yeah. So Pip the Troll and what's his
Is
name?
he one of the
Scourge
humans who got a stone?
got an Infinity Stone. Yes. At the end of he did. He's
Dad,
one of the characters.
did you
Where-
just see me?
where did you
just
get
see
that
me
from? Did I tell you
spitting that knowledge?
That's
Look at
comic
me
book knowledge.
knowing things.
That's
Am
not
I
even
getting
from a movie.
What?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know where Pip the Troll put his stone. That's the thing.
Yeah, did he eat it?
I don't know what he did with it. They inferred that it wasn't child
I think
friendly.
he ate it.
I think he swallowed it. I hope
Nom.
he swallowed it.
Nom.
Anyway, so they go through this portal and it changes things or whatever, and Beta Ray Bill's ship takes a personal form. So, yeah,
Like the TARDIS, like when the TARDIS was a woman.
Well, his ship is called Scuttlebutt, and it's has a it's sentient anyway. But now, yes, like the TARDIS she becomes a woman. Exactly.
Love it.
So
Look at me just knowing things without you
I
telling me
know.
today.
All right, so I got two number ones.
Okay,
The
two
first
number
one I wanna-
two
the
number
first one-
ones.
First one I'm going to talk about is Robin number one.
Are these your
so-
books of the week?
No, my book of the week is the one after this. I like the
Okay.
Robin book. This is Damian Wayne. We talked about him in
Mm-hmm.
Deceased. So he is the biological son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, who was Ra's al Ghul's daughter. So
Yes.
Robin is Ra's al Ghul's grandson,
Cool.
right? And he is trying. I can't quite understand the premise of this comic book, except for the fact that he's trying to find out why his mom, what her plan was for him, why she left him to do something, or blah blah blah. Anyway, he has to go find this like underground battle, sort of like a Mortal Kombat or Bloodsport or something like
Finish
that.
him.
Yeah. So he gets
Oh.
he gets invited. You just turned
I
yourself.
don't know what I clicked.
He gets invited, and he wants to start the battle right away. And instead of listening, his mouths off. He goes, "I'm the best one here. You all want to fight me all at once, or do we want to get this started?"
Oh, that
So
was a poor choice.
they introduce this character called Flatline. It's a female who, at the end, the last picture is her holding his heart in his hand. So
Yikes.
yeah, I don't know how this is going to go forward. I guess this was,
Wayne
and now Robin
messed
#1 is
up.
the first and last issue of the comic book.
LOL.
You know
Robin
it's not.
won. Robin made a poor choice.
So
This is the end.
My comic of the week that I liked is
Book of the
called
week.
The Marvels, issue 1. This is a
Is it by Marvel?
Marvel Comics. The cover is by Alex Ross, who's one of my favorite artists. It flips back and forth through time.
The Marvels what?
It's called The Marvels. It's what it's called.
Okay.
And it starts like in, I don't know, like 1400 maybe. I can't remember. No, 1947. And it goes up through the ages as you follow this villain and you see superheroes. It's not our regular continuity timeline. So
Okay.
it's like superheroes in and out of time. They literally introduce the characters we know and love with a little bit of a difference. Like there is a huge splash page, which we've talked about in the past. That's where you have everything thrown at you on one big picture. Let me set this up. So there is a evil villainess who has come to power over the time. And now she has like a huge magical barrier over this country, I guess, that she's running or whatever. And I think it's Tony Stark and Doctor Strange create Captain America a new suit. They drop him from space. He uses his shield as like a heat shield, and he is able to go right through the dome that she's created. And he confronts her, and she's like, "You should have brought more people." And then he drops some magic stuff, and he goes, "I didn't come alone." And then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters pop out. And some of them are Marvel characters, like it's the Vision, but he doesn't look like the Vision. Storm, Black Cat, Captain America. 2 other characters that I'm not extremely familiar with, and Warbird, which is a character from like the X-Men. She was a villain in the X-Men, so it looks really cool. Like they're gonna pull different characters
From different like canons, perhaps.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there's a backstory that tells about one of the there's a character named Kevin Schumer. That's his name, Kevin Schumer. And there's like a backstory about him as a secondary story in it.
That's funny.
And yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. It's sort of
Cool.
like, it feels sort of like an Exiles type vibe.
I love an Exiles comic,
But
man.
it's not Exiles, but it pulls characters we know with powers we know, but there's sort of something a little bit different.
There's something a little
about
bit
it.
off about it.
Yeah.
which
But I
I'm
like
here
it.
for.
Marvel's #1. So yeah, that's my book of the week. Robin's a close second.
Okay.
No, Beta Ray Bill's a close second. Close
You're
second.
funny.
I really like Beta Ray Bill.
Sally says hi.
Hi, Sally. Awesome.
A piece of news that you didn't mention that I forgot to make you bring up was
What?
that you were a guest on another person's podcast this week.
Oh yeah, I was Faith and Fandom with Hector Mirai.
Yeah.
We just sat down and talked about things. I think we're gonna do it again and talk about leading a nerd small group. We didn't even get to that. We spent all the time just chatting about nerdy stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, no kidding.
That's so fun.
Plus, I applied for a solo art exhibit at the
I
Lexington Art League
saw
for next year.
that. Did you
So
send one of your fancy books in that you got made?
no, you have to do it all via email.
Oh, lame.
So I think I got about a 25% chance.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know I'm
one in
there.
four. All right. So that was it. That's my comic books. Go read comics.
They're fun.
They're good for you.
Oh,
What?
something. I'll bring this up when we talk about Sweet Tooth. Never mind.
All right. So anyway, speaking of comic books, we watched a movie
Yes.
based on a comic book character, which I
Yes.
just happen to have the first appearance of Miles Morales up behind me. If you're watching,
Woo woo! I see
it's a
him
second print, and I have my mosaic on the
that you
background,
made.
too. I
Hello, I made
also
this.
have the first appearance of Spiderham in a comic book up behind me as well. Marvel Tales, Spiderham. That was so. Anyway, what did we watch, Hannah?
We watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep, give us the lowdown.
Um,
So this movie's been out for
it
3 years.
it won an Academy Award in 2018 for Best
Yes.
Animated Film. Beat The Incredibles
Which
2 as it should have.
It should have.
It should
The
have.
animation
It was.
style is fantastic.
It created a new animation style.
Sony Animation, who did this too.
Created a new animation style for this movie. Straight phenomenal. This takes place on Earth, but a different
Brooklyn.
Earth that is not our Earth.
The Ultimate Universe is what we would call it.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called now.
it's
'Cause
not.
they're all together now. They're merged now.
Yeah, but it's not.
Miles.
It's not Earth. Is it 62? What Earth is our
616.
six? Or no, it's not Earth 616. It's a different
Right.
Earth, because if you go back and watch it, the Earth that would be our Earth is Peter B. Parker,
Right.
because his Earth is the one that has Coca-Cola the way it should be spelled.
Yes, exactly. That was funny.
So what happens is Miles Morales is a middle school boy. His dad is a police officer and his mom is a nurse. And he's going to like a special magnet school. Doesn't
middle
really want to be
schoolers.
there. Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't really feel well known by either of his parents.
I love the part where he gets a 0 out of 100 on an
Yes,
exam.
on a
She's like,
true false test.
Yes, she goes, do you know the probability of getting a 0? No, like if you didn't know anything and just guessed.
Like if you took this in the dark and just bubbled in answers.
Do you know what grade the possibility 50%? And he's like, yes. The only way you could get a 0 on this exam is if you knew all the answers. And then she took that 0 and added a 1 and a 0 in front of it.
She's like, you're trying to quit.
He wants to go back to his, and that was something throughout this entire movie. Did you notice that?
Of him, yeah, of
Not just
choosing to
him.
get up.
No, we don't
Like
quit.
people wanting to quit.
Even his uncle, you know me, I don't quit. So his family, like, we don't quit.
Yeah.
We keep going. Yeah. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So he
Doesn't feel known by his parents.
he doesn't feel known by his father. Has a good relationship with his uncle. The kid is an artist. He does like street art, so he likes like graffiti style art, things like that. Dad's a police officer, so that's not something that he's allowed to do.
Illegal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And so he goes with his uncle, this abandoned place that isn't going to hurt anyone if he graffitis there. And so he does this like no expectations, great expectations play on art.
I didn't even catch that until this time watching it. I've seen this 18,000
Oh, you didn't catch that the first time?
No, see, he has to write an essay on Great Expectations. I've read that book, by the
That
way.
book is
It
awful.
boring.
It's
Anyway.
a boring book.
Anyway.
Yeah, I read that in high school. And
his,
he gets
thingy
bit by a
book.
radioactive spider.
Yeah.
And Fisk is the big bad in this one, and he is
Wilson
trying
Fisk, the
to
Kingpin,
Kingpin is trying to bring back
played
his
by Liv
family.
Schreiber, who is the original, is the guy who plays Liv Schreiber is the Wilson Fisk voice. He is Sabretooth in the newer movies.
Yeah. So He gets bit by a radioactive spider, becomes Spider-Man, and Fisk is trying to bring his family back from a different dimension because his family has passed away. And so in doing that, the Spider-Man in Miles's universe dies, like the Spider-Man you'd think of, like who's married to Mary Jane, who has Aunt May,
Right.
passes away, and all of 5 different spider
Spider-Man
people.
from different universes.
Spider people.
What did I say?
You said Spider-Men.
Well, whatever. Yeah, I meant
Spider
spider people.
people.
Okay, anyone can wear the mask. What if it doesn't fit? What if the costume doesn't fit?
It
It
always
always
does.
fit. It always fits eventually.
There's just
Yes,
little tears down the sides of my cheek.
I
Dun,
know it.
dun,
So yes,
the
spider people
music in this bops too,
from
man.
different universes show up, and
I could watch this movie a million
all
different
a million
times and
times.
see something new every single time.
Yes.
Can I tell you what I found out this time?
What?
Okay, so the very first time when he jumps, he goes, ah, and the letters go down.
Mm-hmm.
And when he like has his coming into himself moment and he's like in
Yes.
his own costume and jumps, it goes woo and the letters go up.
Oh, cool.
So he's
So
falling and it says ah and the letters go down. And then at the very end when he like is like I can do this, it says woo and the letters go up.
So the premise of this movie is all of the spider people have to team together to destroy the collider to save
Hmm.
the universe and get put back in where their original places. They have some subplots. There's a Doctor
Quite a few subplots.
Octopus, a female Doctor
She's
Octopus.
cool.
Do you know who voices that?
Yes. The
Agnes.
girl who was in Ella Enchanted.
Agnes. It's Agnes.
Yeah, she was in Ella Enchanted.
Was she really? Who was she? in
Yeah.
Ella Enchanted?
She was the witch in Ella Enchanted
No. Ella Enchanted? Which one is that?
with Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. It's the girl who played Agatha Harkness.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm right.
Um,
I'm
I didn't know.
Googling it to make
I
sure.
didn't know who she was in that. But anyway, um, so we own this movie. So we didn't watch it on any streaming service. I don't know if it's available on any streaming
It's not.
service.
I,
It's
I
the girl.
searched.
It's
It's
the girl
not.
who played Agatha Harkness on WandaVision. That's the voice of Doctor Octopus.
What else is she in?
She's also in The Holiday. Um, you'll know her when you see her.
Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, you remember her from
She's in
WandaVision.
something else.
She's in a bunch of stuff.
Oh, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That's what it is.
Yes, she plays a therapist in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
She's the
That
therapist
was
in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
hilarious. Hilarious.
That's
And
what it is, man.
she works with Cameron Diaz and John Krasinski in The
Yeah,
Holiday.
she's pregnant in The Holiday.
In real life?
No, she has a pregnant belly in The Holiday.
Oh, I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention.
I did. Oh, she's in The
Anyway,
Last Mimsy too. Okay, that's what
I
it
don't
is.
even know what that is.
Oh, it's weird.
So here's the deal. There is an option on the DVD that we own to watch the alternate universe mode. I watched alternate universe mode.
What does that mean?
So what that is, it was actually 2 hours and 20 minutes long. They took storyboards and unfinished animation that they decided not to use in the main movie and pieced it together along with the movie to show other aspects of the movie.
They did not.
Yes, they did.
That's so fun.
It was really cool. And the biggest part of that movie, I think, for me, was the interplay with his roommate. In the alternate universe, so in the version we watched, the roommate's pretty much clueless.
Well, it makes it the way that he was like, I finally introduced myself to my roommate. He says that at the very end, and that makes me think that there was something there, like that we
Yeah.
didn't, that we weren't really privy to.
So it felt a lot like, on the storyboards, it felt a lot like Tom Holland with his best friend.
That's what I was thinking, because that's the kind of vibe that I got. I got that
really felt
vibe.
like that because his roommate in the alternate universe mode basically showed him, there was a documentary about Spider-Man, and it showed how this person used all of his powers. So
That's awesome.
he was like getting to him on YouTube or whatever, and they were watching how to learn how to do his powers. So he basically discovered all of that, his abilities and how to use them with his roommate.
Something that I thought that was really funny that I was just thinking while watching the movie, because what it actually is, like in the film that, not the extended version, but in like the theatrical version,
Hmm.
um, he's like talking about how sticky his hands are, and
Yes, and
he
he
gets
rips
stick
the
to a
girl's
comic
hair.
book, and then it breaks, and I was
Yes.
like, this is like the first issue Spider-Man. Like this
Well, if
guy
that's the truth, he wouldn't be holding it. He'd have
would
gloves
be,
on.
well, no, because it was like origin story Spider-Man.
Oh,
And
yes.
I was like, oh no. All I was thinking was like, I hope that's not his first issue of
That would
Spider-Man
stink.
comic, because you just ripped a page out.
Here's something interesting. I don't know if you noticed. Do you remember the number on the spider that bit him?
42.
Okay. Do you know the significance of 42?
No.
So 42
It's
is
everywhere.
the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So what happens in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
Because that's
is,
the answer.
yeah, they said, we want to know, they create this computer and it says, we want you to find out the answer to the ultimate question of life, universe, and everything. And this computer took 7.5 million years and it comes up with the answer. And the answer is
42.
42. And they're like, I don't get it. 42. And he goes, well, yeah, you didn't ask the. They go, well,
You asked,
what's it
you
an
asked.
answer to? And they go, well, you didn't ask me what the question was. You just asked me what the answer was. So 42 is the answer to everything in the
And so that's
universe.
why they picked that number.
It has to be.
That's
I mean, I don't
hysterical.
know why else they would have chosen it, but
Maybe it's Earth 42.
I don't know.
Well, 42 is on the spider.
Yes,
And so I
by
thought it was just,
Alchemax,
yeah,
which is, they're doing a sort of sequel, which is like Spider-Man
really.
2099,
Bring it on.
which is Alchemax is the big thing where that Spider-Man gets his powers. So
Cool.
um
It's just it's such a good movie. It's such a sweet film about like family and about growing into who you are, and how you can always grow into who you are even if you're like a grown up.
yes.
You can
Yeah,
always choose
you
to,
told me the story about, was it John Mulaney? Is that his
yes.
name? Who was so here's the deal.
Yes.
They have Gwen Stacy, who is Spider Gwen. They have Spider-Man Noir, which is a
Which
black
is
and white Spider-Man voiced by
my favorite
Nicolas
is he in black
Cage.
and white? Why is his cape blowing? Where's the wind coming from? We're in the
Where's the wind
basement.
coming from? And they give him a daggone Rubik's cube, and he goes, "Is this purple? Is this black? Is this white?"
He's like,
So he's like,
he's like, did I finish it?
"I'm
No.
I'm taking this cube," and at the end, it is finished. Did you
Yeah,
notice it?
it's finished and it's in color. He's
Yes,
in
and
black
it's in
and white
color,
in his
white.
like universe, and he's like, my favorite thing is punching Nazis. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. They also have
like a chibi
a
style
exactly who has a psychic link to a spider inside like a robot,
Penny Parker.
Penny Parker, and then they have Spiderham, Peter Porker,
Hmm.
who was bitten by a radioactive pig. You know what he said?
Yeah, everybody's like doing their like, you
Yeah.
know the story.
Origin
I'm
story.
like this, and I got bit by a radioactive spider, and then Peter Porker's like radioactive pig, and everyone's like, what?
So, was there a Peter Porker short at the beginning of the movie you watched?
There was not.
Alternate universe mode. There is.
No way.
There is. There is a Peter. There
That's
is a
hysterical.
Spider-Ham short, and he gets sucked into the other universe at the end.
Oh, that's so funny.
But now that came out in 2019. I saw that, so it did not come out in the theater. So it only is. So yeah, it's at the beginning of.
Well, I was watching
He
an
fights
interview.
this, like,
I think John
crab
Mulaney
guy.
is so funny.
Explain that to me. So
Like, I just think John Mulaney is like, he's a comedian that I really enjoy, and so I like watch his stand up and I watch his interviews. And he was doing an interview, I can't remember who with, Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, most likely. I don't know. It might, who knows? It was one of the like American
gotcha.
nighttime TV hosts.
Right.
And he was talking about being in Spider and being in the new Spider-Man. And he
being
was like, here's
Peter
the thing.
Porker Spider-Man.
Here's the thing. They just told me that they wanted me to be Peter Porker and that I was just going to come in and I was just going to do a few lines. It was just going to take a couple days. They didn't tell me what it was for. I didn't know what was happening. I knew nothing about the project, just that they wanted me to be Peter Porker in this thing. And so I get there and I'm ad-libbing, and he's like talking about how he's like saying all of these like shit like grown shenanigans and is like
Yes.
doing all of this like
Immature.
bonkers. And I mean, John Mulaney is not a clean comedian. Like he
Gotcha.
like is a
He
person
is in
who will
this.
he no yeah, and I mean it's a kids movie, but like he will like in his stand up he will like curse in his stand up and stuff like
Right.
that. And so he was doing the first day he was doing his stuff like how he would normally, and the
Right.
next day he came in and was like, is this like a kids program? Like, is any of the stuff that I've done so far usable for you? And they're like, no, we're not gonna be able to
We
use any of
can't
it.
use any of it.
And they're like, it was just so funny. We were just like,
I love Spiderham. It's so funny. The anvil falls on the dude's head. It just comes out
He's
of nowhere.
like-
And at the end, when they're all leaving to go their own way,
he's like, here's a hammer. It
giant
conveniently
hammer.
fits in your pocket.
it fits in your pocket. And then he goes, "That's all, folks." And then the other guy
It flies away.
and then that guy goes, "Can he say that? Is he allowed to say that? Is that okay? Is that copyright or whatever?"
He's just so funny in this.
So it has a great ending, except everyone who, if you've not seen this, you should see this, especially for children of color who don't feel represented, because Miles's dad is African American and his mom is Latino, I believe, and it's just so good.
Yeah, he speaks Spanish like throughout
Yes, he goes to his mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yes. It's a good movie. Do you know my favorite part of seeing this movie in the theater?
What? Mom?
Yeah, we sit down to watch this movie. This starts up. My wife leans over to me and goes, "Is this a cartoon?"
Yeah,
like,
my mom. We're stoked about seeing this movie, like stoked. And I'm like, this is gonna be so great. And we have like popcorn and we got our drinks and we're like, yeah. And mom's like, this is a cartoon.
Is this a cartoon? I was like, "Yes, it is." And she was done at that point. She was over. She thought it was live action. Okay, we don't have a whole lot of time left with this, but
shoot.
Yeah,
No, we don't. We've been talking a long time.
I know. The animation style.
The animation style is phenomenal
throughout the thing, depending upon who they show. Anyway, I give this 5 radioactive spiders.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for sure.
Or 8 legs. I give it 8 legs. All right, let's stop it because we're gonna run.
Okay, Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth.
Okay, we read this again on. You bought this on Amazon, so you bought this on Amazon.
Yes,
you bought the trade paperback.
No, I didn't. I bought the digital.
Yeah, so we could read it. Here's something that I learned. If you have it pulled up, so if like from last week, if our friends are like, you know what, I want to go read Invincible, I'm going to go do that. You can double tap your screen and it will go panel by panel. And so it will zoom in on each panel and show you panel for panel and then show you the entire page.
Ooh, that's cool.
So you can double. Because I just like use my 2 fingers and like zoom.
Right.
But if you double tap, it like walks you through piece by piece and then shows you the entire page at the end.
Wow.
Which is helpful for people like me who just are like, I'm going to read all of it at once.
Yeah, no kidding. So here's the deal. This is not spoilers for the TV show, but it may be.
Yeah, not on purpose because
We
they
read the comic book.
Yeah, they didn't ask us to watch the movie or TV show.
Yeah, they haven't let us watch it. Although they might, The executives from Netflix will listen to this podcast and watch us on Facebook.
You know who needs to listen to this? Watch this? Todd and Hannah. That's who.
That's exactly all that matters. I don't care how long it takes. So, yes, I saw the trailer. I was intrigued. I'd never read the comic. I thought,
Me either.
let's read the comic because I love Jeff Lemire. He is doing Ascender and Descender, which is one of my
you've talked about those before. Yeah,
and so he wrote and drew this, so it's all his.
This is a weird comic.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is a dark comic.
It is extremely dark. So I'm going to set down the premise. Hannah mentioned it somewhat earlier. So what happens is this takes place in the future when a virus has happened. There you go. And everyone starts getting sick, and all the children born after the virus has started are born with some type of animal characteristics. And some of them are are unintelligent almost. They say that some can't.
Like literally can't even speak.
Right. But they look like dogs, pigs, goats, donkey, whatever, horses. This character looks like a deer. He
His
has
name is
deer
Gus.
antlers. His name is
And a
Gus.
deer nose.
Had his deer nose and the
Deer
ears,
ears.
and antlers, and
But
he's
has
covered
like
in fur.
hands.
Yeah,
Has
but
like
regular hands.
Has like
and
regular
feet.
hands and feet.
And so his dad, in order to keep him safe, moves them to the wilderness, the woods, and his dad ends up dying, just of the
From the
sickness,
disease.
of the disease.
Yeah, they just call it the sickness.
After the mother had already passed.
And Gus didn't
Passed
have any memories of her.
when I'm thinking she died during childbirth. Honestly, we didn't get that far.
Though that's what the dad had said.
Gotcha. We read, I think, through almost 3 or 4 story arcs in this.
3.
3. So what happens is his dad basically, I felt, had used religion as a way to keep him from going anywhere.
Was like the God says we don't leave the forest.
God says we don't leave the forest. Well, he finds a candy bar close to the edge of the forest, and he loves the candy, which is why
he's called Sweet Tooth.
He's called Sweet Tooth because he loves.
He likes chocolate.
And so his dad dies. He buries him, and some hunters come to find him. And
that panel was straight from the trailer.
Really?
That panel was straight from the trailer because there was a panel where an arrow comes and like hits a tree. And then
But there's a real deer there with him. The hunters end up killing the deer thinking, I thought for sure there was a deer boy here. And they're like, and then they find him and they get ready to capture him, but somebody else comes up and
Mr. Jeffers.
Yes. Who isn't great.
Like
Although by the end of
he's
this
not.
book,
You're like, oh man, Mr. Jeffers.
Yeah.
You're like, shoot, dang.
You come to find out, I don't want to give it all away. Because I'm giving like everything away. I don't want to do that. This book is hard to read.
It really is.
You feel for the little boy because
he's afraid and he doesn't know, and like his English, like he's able to speak, but his English is
not perfect because he hasn't been around anyone else but his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like if you ever watched the movie Nell.
I haven't seen that.
Nell was raised in the woods by her mother, who was a stroke victim. So,
wow.
So that's how she talks. She talked like someone who only could use a part of her speech.
Yeah, because that's what.
But now Gus isn't that way. Sweet Tooth isn't that way. His words make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we get to see. We get to see Gus. You find out that there are like the world has fallen completely apart. There's no communication. It's being run by militia or scientists militia, or there's like outposts that are like,
it's like
Mad Max type stuff.
Very like Book of Eli type
shenanigans. So. And any woman that is pregnant, the militia scientist groups, they want the baby because they're trying to reverse engineer the disease to try to stop it. And so when they find Gus is an anomaly, and I'm not going to tell you why because it gives it away.
He's an anomaly, and they're trying to figure out.
Right, and you find out Mr. Jeffers, the guy who saves him at the beginning. Jeffords. I think it's like Shepherd, but with a J. Jeffords. I think it's Jeffords.
Okay.
So you think he saves him, but you could tell he's not all that great.
Well, and he felt very much like one of those like grizzled, like. Yes.
Well, he was a hockey player. You come to find out.
He felt like Woody Harrelson in Zombieland.
Right. Exactly.
Is the vibes that I got.
Gotcha.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
He was he was a hockey player, and he would have been called the Goon. A goon is someone who all they do is just fight in a hockey match. So he knows how to fight. So long story short, something happens with Sweet Tooth. He end up in captivity with the science place. Mr. Jeffords comes to grips with some stuff. And the book that we finished is him leaving to go,
Get him back.
Get him back.
Oh, and its shenanigans are gonna Shenanigans are gonna go down, man.
I know it ain't gonna be. Yeah.
Woo!
But here's my take on this. This is by DC's Vertigo logo, which came
and
out.
you think that it's similar to?
It's like
it's like their horror label.
Exactly, it was their horror label. So Sandman, which is coming out on Netflix, Swamp Thing was also Vertigo. There's a whole bunch of stuff that was Vertigo, which was basically mature audiences only. So this is not going to be for kids.
And they're like, Sweet Tooth has like nightmare sequences.
Yes,
that are just terrifying.
But it's like they're teaching him something.
It's like that they're trying to protect him.
Exactly. His dreams are trying to protect him.
Or his body,
right.
Like being like, you are not safe. Do what we say.
Yes, exactly. So yes, that's where it ends. We believe that Sweet Tooth may be
an anomaly.
An anomaly.
Perhaps.
We don't know.
And we think Jeopard is going back. We think Mr. Jeopard is on the way.
Mm-hmm.
On the way.
Oh, yeah. It's like I wouldn't want to be in his way.
Oh, no. Like, watch out, man.
This guy is brutal. Although, in the trailer, there's the guy with the red glasses in the trailer.
Which I think is the scientist.
It's the guy with the red glasses.
Which is the scientist. No, but he's the bad guy.
He's the guy that runs the compound.
He's the guy who's in charge of the bad scientist.
I don't know that scientist is necessarily bad.
I don't think that he's brave enough to stand up for what is good.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you let it happen, he says that in the book. Even though you're not for it, if you're letting it happen, then you may as well be.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to watch this show.
I'm going to watch this show. Are you going to read the next little comic?
I'm going to get the next one.
That's so cool, Dad.
Absolutely.
No, that's so fun because, like, literally, I just texted you. I said, I think that this trailer looks cool. And you were like, oh, let's just read it then.
I know. And
that's so. Look at me.
I'm sucked in. You did it. You convinced me.
Look at me, Dad.
This is the guy who swore up and down he would never buy comic books off the interweb.
Well, here, and now I learned a new thing for you if it's too small, because they had a couple panels
that were itty bitty. The writing was so small.
Well, that's because I think that was like, I can't remember what it's called, but when it's a panel's 2-page, flats, like the
splash page.
Splash. They had quite a few splash pages.
Gotcha.
In this, like the splash page where they're like running through the desert through the two school buses, and it's like all of the little squares.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like I think that was a splash page.
So, this comic book is available.
Old.
It's available. You'd have to purchase it, or you could get it digitally through Comixology or the Kindle app. I think it's like $10 is what it was, and it covered. It was
206 pages.
Yeah, I'm saying probably close to 20 comics.
It was a lot of comics.
No, 12, maybe 16. I can't remember. This is not for kids.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
I thought, which it's kind of a bummer because it looked. I thought it was.
Like it might be cutesy, and that's why I wanted to do this, just to let everybody know this ain't gonna be for kids. I mean, it ain't gonna be like Ted, the teddy bear movie. It's not gonna be a vulgar.
But no,
like
the little kid looked sweet.
Yes.
And it looked like, and like he was doing like some adventure things, and I was like, oh, it'll be like a late PG, no,
this is gonna be immature. I have a feeling.
No. Well, maybe I'm not quite sure what the Downies are gonna do with it, so maybe it won't be as dark. Maybe it won't be R. Maybe it'll be PG-13. But I can't see it being PG. Not the TV show.
I can't see it doing that at all. There was a lot of language in the comic book. They could get away without doing the language.
They could not do the language.
But the premise of the story is terrible.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It was fun to read. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Ditto. Me too, and I'll probably get the next one.
That's dope.
End roll.
Hey friends, thanks for hanging with us and listen to us. We had a pretty long episode for you today, but it was fun. Dad and I just chit-chatted for a while. Don't forget to
share and then DM me your address. If you don't give me your address, I can't send any stickers. I actually have Miles Morales magnets. So if you share and DM me your address, I will send you some comic book stickers or magnets, okay?
Our cover art is created by Nathan Turner, my brother Todd's son. Thanks so much for making the art for us, Nate. He made it in Microsoft Paint. What a king. That's phenomenal. Crazy. It's literally beautiful. Yeah. Our intro music is created by Brockwell Nason. Check him out on Spotify. He's got some sweet music up in there that you can listen to, or Apple Music,
Absolutely.
or Amazon Prime. I don't know, wherever it is
don't
that
know.
you listen to your music.
Exactly.
Our YouTube is uploaded and controlled by the sweet father, Big Pops over there. Thanks for doing that for us, Dad.
It's
And
easy.
I edit and upload the podcast.
That's right.
Boop, 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 boop.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this adventure. We can't wait to see you again in a little while. We probably won't meet next Sunday. 'cause
No,
it is
next Sunday
Mother's Day.
because it's Mother's Day, but we will be
But
back.
We may do it. I don't know. We haven't talked. So
We haven't.
we'll
So
talk
we
about it.
maybe
We may do
not.
it maybe in the night one night next week. Who knows?
In the night.
Ooh, it can be like primetime edition. Sis and Big Pops primetime.
LOL.
LOL.
Okay.
Thanks, friends.
Regardless, thanks for hanging with us, friends. We will catch you on the flippity flop. Bye.
Flop. Bye.
Um.
Bye, Facebook friends.
Bye, Facebook friends. Sally said PD is listening. So hey, PD, if you're listening still,
Sup, P. Diddy.
do we want to show them our T-shirts really fast, or do we decide not to do that?
Nope, I forgot.
Okay.
Mosaic
fan art.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
let me see
wearing
yours.
a Bob Burgers Knit Us
Knit
for Life.
for life.
Knit Us for Life because
All right, I love
I'm a knitting girl.
Knitting girl.
Thanks
All
for
right.
hanging with us, Facebook pals.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. I haven't